They bring the fucking Goodyear and MetLife blimp to all the football games or whatever, stuff like that. But
yeah, no, that was
why don't they bring it to, stuff that really matters?
like presidential elections,
stuff like that.
Why would they bring?
Why don't they bring it to the Middle East where it could really do some work?
Yeah, where it could explode.
Have that shit hover over a small town in Azerbaijan and just snipe the people from up there.
I think
you don't even need a drone.
Drone strikes are way more effective.
Fucking land the blimp in fucking Syria or some shit and be like, hey, we'll take you to America. and then you
crash it like the
Hindenburg. You just fucking Hindenburg their ass.
Yeah, but you could have like. If I had a blimp, the only thing that I would be like, all right, this has to be in there, is a bottom that like opens up like a trap door. So when you're flying over something, you're just like, have a nice trip and then fall something, and then I press a button.
Fall down out of my blimp. Bitch.
That's what I'll say, and they'll be like, "What?" And then I'll press a button, and they'll fall down out of the blimp.
That's what needs to be in the next Indiana Jones movie. There's a scene like that where the neo space Nazis have Indy
blimps
played by Shia LaBeouf
of course.
in a moon blimp, and they drop him out, and he has to whip back up into the moon blimp as he falls out. But it's like space gravity, so the whip is like going super slow. And it slowly wraps around something.
Like Wonder Woman.
Here's the line you were looking for, Jack, which we couldn't get earlier. When you take all the Syrian immigrants to America, when you're over America, it's like, you've arrived at your destination. Please unload in an orderly manner, and then you drop.
That's pretty fucking good. That's good.
Yeah. Shit, every blimp does need a trapdoor.
Yeah.
You think they got one on the MetLife blimp?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure that
they got one built in already.
I'm sure fucking Snoopy or whoever owns MetLife is just up
Mr. Snoopy.
It's fucking up in space, and they're just like, oh, we'll take you on the blimp. And like, if they need to get rid of some people, like if they need to unperson some people,
they fly it over like the Massachusetts Bay.
Yeah.
And they just fucking drop them in.
They fly it
You're gonna be flying with the birds,
okay.
And then you're gonna be sleeping with the fishes.
Okay, so alright, hypothetical. You have this blimp. How many people do you need, and how high do you need to be up? If you were like over the World Trade Center and you have a bunch of people in your blimp, how many people do you need to like open up in order to like bring that tower down?
How many people do you need to drop out of the?
Yeah,
I feel like it's an astronomical.
Yeah.
Like enough that they start falling off the side before you got there. I think.
Yeah, like
I thought you were gonna say like how many
number.
do you need to drop down if you timed it perfectly to stop the planes from crashing into the building.
To redirect the planes.
Just create a
the MetLife blimp gets in the way of the planes.
They're not even getting in the way. It's just like the planes are like and they're like, we have some turbulence. It's like we avoided the towers, but how? And like the MetLife blimp is over that plane, dropping people onto the wing.
Yeah, you drop them onto the wing so they veer off, of course.
They're like,
my
what?
God.
And then like instead of 9/11, we're celebrating. It's like not that many people died, but let's take a salute to honor the people who were dropped onto the wing.
Yeah, in this alternate timeline, way more people died. But it's seen as like, we did it. We don't have to go to war.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Actually, then less people would have died.
That's
we
true,
didn't have to go to Iraq and Iran.
Wow. What heroes in this alternate time?
Someone should fucking write a fucking movie where like someone goes back in time and somehow through some weird circumstances that is the only way to stop 9/11.
That should have been that Charlie Sheen movie.
The movie would end if it ends with that. It would just have like they would all be up in a blimp, and then it would go in slow motion where it'd be like. And we can be heroes just for one day.
Yeah.
I will, and it's like as people are just like hitting the blimp and as people are hitting the plane,
pounding, like doing a Superman like dive into the wing. Like, ah!
I feel like that movie would definitely have a B plot where they like just found like the like most like tragic person who died during the attacks, and there's a B plot just following them. It's like, oh, are they gonna die in this tower? I don't know. What do you think? And at the end, they live because of the "we can be heroes."
They're saluting the people as they're falling.
Yeah,
out
they
of the
look
blimp.
out the window and they see the plane veering off course, and they just do a salute.
Yeah.
What would
all those
be
splats on the side of the wing.
What would be the reason that a blimp dropping onto the wing is the only way.
Well, use bombs. Okay, you're there, and it's
the plane is like hovering around because there was like a baseball game.
Yeah, and the blimp is there,
and the Air Force is like, there's nothing else we can do. We can't get there in time.
Yeah, no one can get there in time, but the blimp is right above there, and so they're just like, they're right above there, and then they turn to their passengers and say, there's only one way, like, we don't have anything else to throw off. We don't know how to, like, if we got in the way, it would just go into our blimp and then explode anyways. Yeah. So, like, how do we do this? And then they're just like, the only way to stop this blimp is if all of you guys jump onto the wing right as it's about to crash.
I think the way to make viewers buy this concept is the premise is you have multiple people going back in time, right? And they're all trying...
Back in time, okay.
And they're all... Because that's what it was. They go back in time to stop 9/11.
Was it? Okay.
And
one of them does, but then
multiple people do.
Yeah. And so
but then they're all trying like the most obvious way. So like one guy like tries to tell the government, and they're like, "You're crazy," and they arrest him, and he can't. So they're like, "All right, so that's why that doesn't work, right?"
Yeah.
And then another person, I don't know. They just try all like the obvious solutions.
Yeah.
And then like show it failing with these other time travelers. So then this other guy like, looks like I gotta think outside the box.
Or inside the blimp.
Or outside the blimp.
Outside, looks like I gotta think outside the blimp. Sure, yeah, that'll be like in the trailer, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called. That's the title.
Outside the blimp, yeah.
Outside the blimp.
Outside the blimp, based on a true story.
Yeah, and like in the trailer, the like the opening part of the...
And then in parentheses, 9/11. Yeah. So outside the blimp, based on true story, parentheses 9/11.
Yeah, the subtitle is based on the truth.
The fucking opening of this would be like a sepia toned flashback to like a guy flying a blimp with his dad, and it's like, my dad showed me how to fly a blimp at a young age.
They're like, we gathered you all here for your specific skills which we think will be useful. It's like, you master, very charismatic master manipulator. You fucking like the most decorated U.S. soldier in the U.S. Army. It's like, you
Chris Kyle,
pretty good at flying a blimp. And he's like, and then there's a scene in the movie. He's like, why did they pick me when I could only fly a blimp? What is my purpose?
Fly a blimp, and also
and then he's like, wait a minute.
No, but there'd also be a flashback where it's like he's modifying his dad's blimp to have a trap door, and he's like, son, there's no situation where this would be useful to the common good.
Like, I'll show you, Dad.
And then he's like, why did they... I only have trapdoor installation experience and blimp flying experience.
Those are the two things I can do.
It's
this scene where he's dropping the people, and it's like, he's saluting. He's like, American heroes, they'll all get a Purple Heart.
Just a Purple Heart.
Imagine if that was just like a residential blimp ride, and none of the people on the blimp actually knew that they were like helping.
No medals of honor.
No, and so like hearts. All of the family, they were like, like one of their kids is like, I'm gonna go on a blimp ride, Mom. And they went on the blimp ride, they die, and then the mom gets like, your child died in battle, but here's his Purple Heart. And she's like, what the fuck?
What if before he drops all the people, he has like a less fucked up plan, right? So he hijacks this blimp. There's a bunch of people on it, and he's brought all these like frozen turkeys. And he drops that. He's like, it wasn't enough. We need more mass. But where can I get it? And then he turns around out of his blimp driver's seat, and he sees a crowd of people, and they're all like, "What's going on?"
I must activate the trap door.
Wait, so the people don't know?
He opens up the trap door.
They're all like dining on like fine wine and dinner. And
well, no, they're scared because the blimp has been hijacked by this man.
Okay, so
and he just dumped a bunch of turkeys out of a trap door, and they're like, "We don't know what the fuck is going on." And then he's like, "If you could all stand where the turkeys were a moment ago."
And he's like, there's a lot of people in this blimp, hypothetically just enough to kilter a plane just off angle.
There's a scene where he goes to every person and asks how much they weigh, and has a calculator, he's adding it up, he's like,
it just might work.
Just enough. The exact amount of weight needed to steer this plane off course.
I do like how he tries the turkeys, and then they can't like correct the plane.
Yeah.
It's literally just
the
like
plane is not moved beyond. Where
they're like a little down, and they're like, "Oh, we got turkeys on our wings. What do we do?" He's like, "Just keep heading for that tower.
Just keep flying that way.
I will be king."
and we could be heroes. Holy shit! This movie would be fucking awesome.
Outside the book. Based on a true story.
I like the idea that "And We Can Be Heroes" like keeps coming back. Like there's so there's 3 plots, right?
You gotta
there's the guy, the terrorist, right? There's a guy going back in time, right? And it's following him. There's another plot where we're following the terrorist, and there's like kind of like a guy who's like not so sure. He's like, oh, I love Allah, but is this really what he wants me to do? Right? Okay. And then there's a woman who has she's pregnant and she works at the World Trade Center, and we're following her just to like kind of up the stakes. Mm-hmm. And all of them get a scene where "We Could Be Heroes" plays.
I think that should be a light. I think that should also be like a leitmotif. So when the guys like so when the guys like
Bowie song.
Yeah. So when the guy's like editing the plane, where he's like, "Son, why are you adding a trap door to this blimp?" And then he just turns around to his dad, and then "We Can Be Heroes," but just the instrumental plays in the background. It's like dun 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 dun.
So for the guy where it plays "We Could Be Heroes" is obviously where he manages to successfully veer it off course, and all the people are splattering against the plane wing and dying on impact. Some of them live barely, and they're like, "Ugh, what's going on?"
They're still on the plane wing.
Yeah, and so that's so wild. They're like going like, "What the fuck?" It goes, "And we could be heroes." And then the terrorist gets one where he's like, he thinks he's about to hit the plane. He's like, "This is for Allah, to kill the infidels," and like why he's saying that to himself. He goes, "And we can be heroes."
Yeah,
and then what's the woman scene? The pregnant woman who works at the World Trade Center. What's her
looking outside the window of the plane, and then I don't know.
How about
vigorously rubbing?
How about
her
she takes? No, she has her baby. It's
a
new baby, and then she throws it out the window.
How about
she's like, "The plane's gonna hit. I don't want my baby."
It's like she realizes what's going on. Cause like there's just a little more weight, and she starts going to labor, and she's like, perfect.
Tosses the fucking football.
It like shoots out like a rocket onto there. It's like, Choo!
I was gonna say there's a post-credit scene where you see her give birth, and then she's holding the baby, and then that goes, "And we could be heroes."
And that's the guy who had to go back in time to stop 9/11.
That's the guy. He's born.
Holy shit! But his mom,
he would have died anyways.
No, but he changed something, so it's like, well, his mom was not.
He would have died at 9/11
he's
anyways,
born,
though.
And then 2 FBI agents come in. They're like, "We're gonna need to give him this human growth hormone." And she's like, "Why?" And he's like, "You'll understand later. You'll understand in the future."
This plot is oddly complicated.
So let's say, like, how about to go back in time? There's bracelets, right?
Sure.
Okay, we're getting into that mechanic.
No, we don't like go too in it, but we just do that so we can see the FBI agents at the end have bracelets on to explain that they came to ensure that he's ready.
To be sacrificed.
Oh, wait, how about he was about to die in 9/11, that's why he wants to go back, but then, like, he does something where, like, his mom was like, "Oh, man, I got in a car wreck, so now I can't do that," but he, like, accidentally makes the car wreck not happen, so she goes to work at the World Trade Center, and he's like, "Now I've really got to do this, or else I'm going to be unborn," and so, yeah.
Okay. Some real back.
So they give him some personal stakes, too.
Yeah, of course.
I see.
This is Back to the Future 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the Future 4, outside
the fucking the doc goes to Marty. He's like, "It's been weighing on my conscience. We have time travel, but we haven't stopped any of the world's major atrocities.
We didn't even try and think about it."
What are you saying, Doc? What are we about to do?" He's like, "We're gonna stop 9/11, Marty.
And then
we're gonna go back in time and stop 9/11, and after that, the Holocaust too."
Wait, why 9/11 first? Like only 3,000.
Well, because that happened more recently, so it's gonna have less of a butterfly effect. So like that's how they kind of feel it out.
Yeah, and then they're
He's
just
like, "I've done small tests, stopping car accidents and other small accidents just to see, and it doesn't affect our timeline at all, Marty.
And he's
it's fine. We can stop every atrocity.
And we need a.
We don't need to explain it.
We can stop the creation of Israel, Marty."
And we can be heroes.
Yeah, he's like, they're like fucking starting. They're like, "Let's see, where should we set up Israel?" And they come in, they're like, "Don't, no, and we can be heroes."
The Israel Planning Committee gets shut down. They don't stop the Holocaust. They just stop the Israel Planning Committee.
They're like, "No, Marty, I tested that out. The Holocaust has to happen."
Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of We won't have Nazi zombies.
It's called accelerationism. It brings us closer to socialism. Successful socialism, Mark. I've seen it. I went to the future. It's good. It's perfect. It all works out.
The future still has currency.
Israel doesn't help anything. People still
I went even further. It only happens if we let all those Jewish people die. They were upholding capitalism this whole time.
Oh, that is...
Man, I didn't know Doc was so base. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that being a part of his character.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think we've got a movie.
Those are 2 good ideas for 2 good movies.
So we know that one of our 20 viewers is an executive at like Fox or Disney.
Yeah.
They gotta
Think about
Make it happen.
Think about it.
Know,
Just
just
credit us at least.
Who's going up to Michael J. Fox and being like, I got a great idea. You fucking go to California, you see him at like a restaurant,
Wait,
bothering him with this. It's like, you stop Israel from being created. He's like, I don't want to.
We could not get this movie greenlit.
I'm not even the person who is in charge of that. I'm just the actor. It's like, you gotta get me in. You gotta get me in, Michael.
Yeah, get me in the right
Please.
Doors.
I know you hate Israel as much as I do.
And what your leverage is, it's like, I created the cure to Parkinson's.
and
he's
I
like,
have this?
He's like, alright, I'll do it.
And a couple of times where you like have it, you show it. Michael J. Fox, he's like, I'll be tricky, and then he tries to grab it, and you like get it away, and he's like, you, and then he starts, but he like is about to get it one time, but then he shakes, and it goes around the cure for Parkinson's. He's not able to grab it. His hand jitters around the cure for
Parkinson's hand. Yeah, man, I love making fun of people with Parkinson's. It's so funny.